Takže začíname, ideme tvrdo, ideme rázne. Je 4.9.2024, začíname 18.44. Dneska sú klikožruty 190, 80, 70 a 60 kliksterov. Pustíme si podmas. Fallout odsypá, solidne, máme 53 level. Máme kľúčový aspekt, dostávame 155 lízačov za jedného crackera. Takže je to dobré. Takže začíname, ideme tvrdo, takže to 188 relaxačný tréningový deň ideme rozprúdiť, 288, takže 288 relaxačný tréningový deň, pustíme si podmas tohto komika, čo hovorí a ideme na to.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Fallout 76 video on the channel. The new update for Fallout 76, the Milepost Zero, is now live as of September the 3rd, and with it has brought in a bunch of changes, good, bad, maybe indifferent, who knows, we'll have to wait and see for that. Let me know in the comments your opinions. And we have seen a big delay with basically the main feature of this update. Now, it was rumoured and stuff at first, it wasn't kind of clearly put out there, I don't believe, in my opinion, but it was out there, and now it has been confirmed. So we got the update, like I said, September the 3rd, adding in a range of stuff. The legendary crafting is now in. I'll not touch on that too much because I've spoken about it many times. If needs be, I may do a guide on it. Best build is out, which I will have a video on tomorrow. We've got the new vendor history log. Start your own caravan is the bit that is delayed, which, like I say, is the main bit. It comes with a new quest, and it also comes with a cool new feature of having your own caravan. Now, the update itself for some people will have been absolutely huge, and this was because Bethesda decided that they wanted to make everyone re-download the full game. If you're on PC, it wasn't as bad. I think mine was like 18 gigabytes because it just kind of must have fixed the files itself, I'm guessing. But basically what it did was they've condensed down the files and probably got rid of some old files that's no longer needed, making the game smaller on your storage, so it should hopefully, one, run better, and two, take up less space, so you've got more space for other games, pictures, whatever you do on your console or PC. So that is ideal, but it is meant to be up to 96.6 gigabyte if you're on Xbox, which is an extreme amount. Now, the patch notes and stuff like that, the main features, like I say, was legendary crafting is now live, meaning you can go to a workbench, scrap your legendary weapons for a chance to unlock the mods, which you can then apply to any weapon which you like. So if you get bloodied, for example, and you unlock the mod for that, like the recipe, so to speak, and you can then go and edit your legendary weapons and add bloodied to anyone you want. So whereas before you had to run random kind of crafting where you'd get a random 3-star, now you have control over the prefixes that you want on your weapon as long as you've unlocked the mod for it. So that's basically that. The legendary cores are now discontinued, meaning they are no longer in the game, and that means that you got a conversion of legendary script instead. So a 1-to-1 ratio, all of your legendary cores got swapped into script. The best build is now live in the game, and I've got to be honest, I actually do enjoy it. The only issue is, which I had the kind of issue with when I was checking them out for a video, is basically it's kind of isn't it? It is pictures, whatever. Smaller, condensed down the files and probably got rid of some. I think mine will have been up is the main bit. It comes with a new quest, and it also comes with a cool new feature of having your own caravan. Now, the update itself for some people will have been absolutely huge, and this was because Bethesda decided that they wanted to make everyone re-download the full game. If you're on PC, it wasn't as bad. I think mine was like 18 gigabytes because it just kind of must have fixed.
Píče sme 82 rank. Skoro výsledný cheater.
It's kind of missing the point a bit. So basically, you're meant to share your best builds, and I guess, you know, everyone's in the day and age where everyone gets a medal for competing in something. But in my eyes, right, we shouldn't be getting a daily to like people's builds. Alright, I get the idea of it because it's getting people involved in testing out the best builds feature, but it's causing the issue where some camps which aren't that great, getting loads of likes because people just doing it to complete a daily, and the camps where camp builders put hours upon hours of their life into it, making a really cool camp, and then not getting the love they deserve. Maybe over time they will, but at first it's kind of caused an issue where I visited a camp which was very basic and it had over 200 likes, And then I seen another build which was really cool and it had like 20 likes, which is not right in my opinion. But anyway, that's it. You can share your builds across servers and people can come visit them on an hourly rotational basis, and it's just kind of completely random where they just bounce between servers and you can go visit them and leave a like rating if you wish. The vendor history log is one which I spoke about previously in another video, so I'm not touching upon that too much, but you can now view a kind of history of anyone that's bought things from your camp in the kind of server that you're in. It's limited to that server, so once you leave it will expire and it does not carry over onto the next day or anything. It's just that kind of live playing kind of basis. So as long as you're in that server you can see it. Once you leave it's gone. The new season is live. I covered all of the new rewards in a previous video as well, but it is alright. It's a bit of an improvement on last season, not gonna lie. Last season was a bit poor. I didn't finish it myself because I just wasn't interested in the rewards, and I don't know, it was the summer so I just wasn't on as much. But yeah, that was that basically. We do have a pretty interesting one with a combat rebalance though. This was looking at damage over time, especially in terms of fire and poison damage. So now fire and poison damage does more damage in a short period of time. So your damage per second has increased, but the amount of time that the actual fire and poison damage is affecting an enemy is less. So it's a short period of time, which means the damage per second goes up, but the amount of time it's affecting an enemy is down. So work that out for yourselves if you think that's good or bad. To me, it just is what it is. Now in terms of more kind of stuff relating around the combat rebalance, we did get some additional weapon and armor adjustments. Some of these I want to kind of test out, no doubt other people will do as well when you get the scientific experiments coming from Turtle and stuff. But basically they've adjusted the damage dealt by Thorn armor. Don't know whether that means it's gone up or down. Like I say, that needs testing. Increased the damage for Gauss shotgun, which is an exciting one because the Gauss shotgun is a weapon that has been bullied for years and it's just been knocked down a few pegs from when it first come out, and hopefully that just means it's going to be a bit better and a bit more user friendly. Blower freezer grenades has also been increased for some reason. I don't know if that was because they were really rubbish and now they're slightly better, but probably still not one that many people is going to use unless you're trying to freeze the queen or something, but then you've got to cry later for that, so who knows. The Cremator's Burn has also kind of been scaled in terms of the weapon damage bonuses, so that's a kind of interesting one. It's basically just what we went over with the fire and poison damage, but it has been changed, so it might be worth testing out your Cremator if you do use it. And the big one in terms of the railway rifle now, we do have some changes with that, with the recoil and the base AP cost being reduced, as well as the fire rate, and they've also removed the AP cost reduction for the railway rifle on the automatic piston receiver. So possibly a nerf happened to the railway. Also in the patch notes it does talk about some perk changes that's went on. I spoke about this originally when it did get added into the PDS, and I've got to be honest, I just don't see the point in this. I don't see what this has improved. I might be being blind to something here. Please explain to me and correct me in the comments if I am wrong on this, but I just don't understand the purpose of this. So vaccinated now increases your disease resistance from all sources based on your endurance stats. Thirst Quencher now increases your action points while not diseased based on your endurance stats. Iron Stomach increases the damage reduction while not diseased based on your endurance stats. And Natural Resistance increases your energy, fire, cryo and poison resistances while not diseased, also based on your endurance stats. I don't understand the point of that. Please explain it to me, because I just, looking from my head, looking at that, I just think, yeah, I'm never going to use any of them perks. So what was the point? I don't know. Never mind. On to the next one, we do have some changes to region bosses. So the lovely Scorchbeast Queen, the Wendigo Colossus, or Earl, whatever you want to call them, or both, and also the Ultrasight Titan have had some adjustments to how incoming damage is now reduced. So this primarily affects cases where VATS, critical attacks and damage over time effects would bypass a portion of the intended damage reduction. So that possibly means that these guys were actually dying faster than what they should have. So when you think of, in terms of VATS criticals, people could use the railway rifle and absolutely melt bosses, given the right circumstances and the good build. So maybe that means that's no longer going to be as much of an effect. Maybe that's just now completely counted and it should be working as they originally intended, let's just say. But yeah, interesting one there. I'm looking forward to testing out the bosses and
No,
seeing
to
how much
člověk
longer they
máš
take to kill, I
žaludečné
suppose. We'll have to
problémy.
wait and see. Now there was a whole bunch of camp fixes as well in the bug fixes. Was a few that were kind of good for people. So the surfboard shelves are now placeable in your camps. The reclaimed fence is now correctly available in your camp build menu. There was some issues with the two Fort Fortress fences can be attached to the same attach point. That's been fixed. There's a lot of different bits and bobs which you can just see on screen. The Fuzzy Mothman plushie no longer faces backwards. Nothing too crazy, but there is some in there which has just basically been fixed where there was some bugs. If you're experiencing them from any of the items on screen, they should now be fixed. There was a whole bunch of combat changes as well, where a lot of adjustments and fixes were meant to have been kind of adjusted. A lot of it is covered in what we just read out about the poison and fire damage over time being adjusted. But yeah, if you read through, you've got like made an adjustment to damage modifiers for creature weak points. This will result in additional damage dealt to creatures when weapons with lower damage per hit are used. So a bit of a funky, weird one. So this will result in additional damage dealt to creatures when weapons with lower damage per hit are used. What? At this point, I'm questioning my ability to read because I just don't understand half these. We've got damage over time effects now scale with bonuses to weapon damage, addresses a series of inconsistencies in how certain damage affects primarily damage over time by dealing incorrect damage. Loads of other bits and bobs about damage over time changes and stuff, so if you do want to read through these, feel free. You can just pause the video and have a read through, but I'm just going to read out the main ones, I think. I'd say probably the main change in all of the combat issues and fixes that they've addressed here is definitely going to be the one where it says fix an issue with the Grenadier perk that resulted in explosions scaling up to twice as large as intended. Some people will definitely be very sad about this because the lovely method of just flying through West-Tek using nuka grenades could very well be impacted by this, slowing down the speed in which you can kill the super mutants. So that could definitely be a kind of repercussion of that change. There is a cool one as well that says effects which increase explosion damage, i.e. kind of demolition expert, should now increase the damage dealt by damage over time effects from explosions. So that could mean your explosive damage from the likes of demolition expert is a bit more powerful now, which is good. There's a bunch of gameplay changes as well, which you can feel free to read through, but the main ones in my eyes was they've improved the chainsaw durability, which of course is a nice one because the chainsaw did break way too fast. And also there was one which I thought kind of stood out with this, and that is extended.
No. 288. Relaxačný tréningový deň je za nami. Bolo 4.9.2024, skončili sme 18.58. Segment trval presne 14 minút. 288 deň. Relaxačný 14-minútový segment.